When you're talking immigration, there's only one person. If I ever became in charge, he'd be the immigration minister, Henry Bolton. A very good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Afternoon, Jeremy. I'm well.
We haven't got long, and you and I are known to talk quite a lot. Did you think, as you sit there with your union flag, good man, that our left-wing Stalinist Prime Minister would stand up today and go, we need to significantly reduce immigration. This country is becoming an island of strangers. He's been likened to Enoch Powell by several from his own party. Caroline Lucas, the ex-leader of the Greens, has said that his rhetoric was absolutely vile and hugely offensive and racist, and the charity Care for Calais has demanded an apology. I demand that they get lost. Immigration, does he really have a clue, or is this clickbait rubbish?
Well, despite what he said today, I'm going to throw his own words back at him. You need to go further and faster, Sir Keir Starmer. This amounts to not very much. And I think Yvette Cooper's statement to the House of Commons this afternoon was an attempt. It was a statement really about tidying up and enhancing the efficiency of existing routes into the United Kingdom. More than reducing immigration. And it's quite clearly the situation that they are, in my view, that they're not terrified of reform, but they do sense that they are going to suffer more electoral defeats at local government and national government in by-elections and so on to reform if they're not seen to be at least acknowledging the immigration problem. They want to acknowledge the immigration problem without dealing with it.
So sorry, just quickly, you think that the British public will accept, or do you not think that actually it's simply okay to address it? We need a bloody solution as a country, don't we?
The British public won't. It won't be enough. But what will happen is that they will probably reduce. Yvette Cooper said 100,000. I think it'll probably mean nearer 30,000, a reduction in the visas issued. But she will claim it. She will sort of round up figures. There will be the spin on this that will fall out of this. But it's nowhere near enough. We need not 100,000. Home Secretary, we need to be reducing the number of people coming into the United Kingdom by at least 500,000 a year. And there's one piece that I welcome, Jeremy, and it's worth saying, the indefinite leave to remain qualifying period. So after 5 years here, a person can apply for indefinite leave to remain, which basically is a ticket to stay in the United Kingdom for the rest of your days. Now, for example, a student, 3-year student visa, at the moment, and this is being trimmed down as well, they can stay for another 2 years looking for a job. That's 5 years. After 5 years here, you can apply for indefinite leave to remain. It's been a massive entry route. So I've said since 2017, we need to close that off. We need to extend that gap, the qualifying period. Finally, now a government has done that. So that's positive, but there's a whole raft of other things. For example, the Home Secretary said in the House of Commons that they are opening up a scheme whereby people documented by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees as refugees can apply for work in the United Kingdom. Well, globally, there's 122 million of them. So, there's a massive opening. There's a whole range of openings here. That's why I say this is not a plan that in any way is serious about addressing or bringing down immigration.
But that's my point, and I said this earlier, and we can talk about specifics. I want to talk about feeling, vibe. For me, you know far more about immigration, but as a broadcaster, if you'd mentioned immigration 5 or even 7 years ago, you'd have been labelled everything. That would be racist, it would be wrong. What I feel in this country, and I feel it really strongly now, is that there is a massive connection in people's minds, that people think, actually, my voice is important. They've looked at America. They've looked at a strong leader who we don't agree with in every way, but he stood up and he said, this is what I'm standing on, and they voted for him, and he's doing it. I think that, when people talk about Brexit and they talk about the cost of living and they talk about the pandemic and they talk about how they're struggling, I think they see people being treated better than them. I think they see themselves at the back of the queue for a doctor, a dentist, I don't know, a mobile phone. I genuinely believe this. We had a call earlier from a woman. She's 76, her husband's 76. He's still working. They pay fees for their special needs child who's in care. They're worried about how they're going to pay for their own care. And she, quite rightly, at 76, politics has every right to say, hold on a minute, these people aren't coming with their families, they're coming on their own because they are going to screw because we make it too easy. And I think, Henry, whether you are Labour, Conservatives, Reform or the Dame Ed and Reveridge, whatever party, the truth is the British public are going to demand more than words. They are going to demand action. And if that means turning boats round, if that means doing stuff that, you know, to a lot of people is almost abhorrent, then so bloody be it, because something is going to give. It really is. And it's not just words.
Jeremy, you're absolutely right. I mean, and you said the last 5 years or so. I agree. The last 5 years there's been a real shift in the groundswell of opinion here. It's getting far more militant. And I would warn Keir Starmer of this: if you don't actually do something, not this window dressing that you've applied today, but if you don't do something concrete, then the demands are going to be such that the only way out of this hole for you is something that really is dramatic, that's almost draconian in nature. And you won't do that. And so the people will end up getting more and more militant. You will have more and more riots, more and more protests, not because I want them, not because I'm calling for them, but because you will have failed. You will have failed the British people. They've been telling you, they told the previous government, and patience is running thin. There are solutions to this. If you choose not to apply them, then that is on your shoulders, Prime Minister.
Couldn't agree more. Always lovely to have you on. Thank you, HB. Henry Bolton, International Border Control expert, and a man who knows exactly what needs doing.